legalese agreement on stuff that really should be general and visionary rather than legalese.
Were there any of the 21 points that you just outright agreed with?
I agree with all of them in some shape or form. I mean, I might want the wording a little wordsmith, but I think they make very good points. We don't have a ridgeline ordinance, for example. Let's see, what's another one? We need to make sure that the service districts are involved. We need to make sure that impact fees are done. We need to talk about what zoning ordinance is going to apply up there. Open space, we need to talk about that. And I think that warrants a better discussion than a legalese paragraph.
I think that letter you got from the county was just a starting point.
Sure.
That's a discussion point that the committee will come back and look at and say, we like this item, we don't like this. We're concerned about your point here. Instead of going to the planning commission first and coming back and putting in your general.
And that's part of my concern, Tony, is the planning, even in saying I drafted a version based on what policy. We haven't given you any policy for what we want.
That's why we contacted the council. That's why we're here.
Well, we contacted you. You were going to go ahead without this meeting, remember?
But this was on a subcommittee meeting. But the planning commission was created to be the workhorse of generating documents for land use matters. And by going straight to an agreement, basically you're basically thwarting the planning commission process. I mean, the state set up the planning commission to be the workhorse to analyze these types of issues.
Yes, but I've been in enough meetings to know that the philosophy, the underlying principles, are to be decided by the council, even though you have a planning commission.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But you were skipping right over to them to analyze and respond to this, and unless the Heidi had got involved, we wouldn't be having this discussion. And that's frustrating. What things about what they want philosophically for our city, we may or may not agree as a council. We can't agree or disagree if we never hear it.
Or if we don't have it in a public meeting to make motions on and debate and vote on. So that's all this is about. This is trying to make this process open and not have it done through emails or just staff meetings.
But I don't even think, I think it's a process. I don't think all of us can go right now, point by point, go yes, no, change, add. I think it's a process, and that's why this annexation policy plan would bring some of these things forward, and we'd have a chance to kind of,
I understand. I'm just wondering how long of a process it will be, because it will probably be months, it'll probably be a year, seriously, if we get serious about 21 things. That's going to be a long process. And maybe there are areas of agreement that are minor, perhaps, that we can still make with the county sooner rather than later. That's all I'm wondering. What does the council feel about any of these particular areas that they feel good about that doesn't require the planning commission to weigh in on or go through months and months of process? Is there anything like that, Tony, that you would think could be recommended now to us?
Really, it's just say something committed. Blame the staff on some things. I think the council gave an opportunity to be able to work through this. We met with the county and a coalition, and they put some ideas together to present it back to council. I don't think we were at the point yet where to present full facts for the council this time, but I wouldn't blame them on it. I do like Tony's process. I think it's more an open process. They will let the planning commission be a part of this. Look at these 21 items. There's some items in there I don't agree with, or some I do, or some I think we need to change wording on to it. And I think the planning commission, that's what we have for. Tony's trying to bring that point across. Let them do it and let them define it down to it. I don't think particularly if you leave them out, I think we're not following the process we need to do with the city.
Just as an example of what I was saying before, I think the bypass road standards we all agree to. I don't think that's a big issue that people really need to debate. I think that's something that we've already discussed.
But the planning commission look at that and check it off, and say that's what you want to do.
Well, there was already the bypass road standards and what we discussed last year.
Well, let me give you an example here. So,
Or here's one more, the trails, the master trail plan.
sure.
I think that's something that we've already agreed to across the county, and we're just waiting for the planning commission to go through it and have one more hearing. I'd say there's 2 items right there that I don't think require a long process.
But if we did make an agreement, said, yeah, we agreed to it, then the planning commission brought something to us that we weren't aware of, we would already be stuck to that without being able to change after they went.
I understand, but, we've already gone through the public process of the trails. We've already last year spent months debating the road standards, and the bypass road standards were part of that. So that's all.
But is the trails idea ever come to the council?
Kelly and I served on that committee.
That isn't for the council.
I understand, but it was something that was done publicly with open houses. We had the surveys, Mountain Lands led that discussion, and it was agreed to with the county and so forth. So it was put into form-based code, even though it's a separate project, but the form-based code did not progress. Right? It's still separate from the form-based code. It's still something that I'm assuming the county has adopted. I'm just saying those are 2 examples of what perhaps do not need to have a very long process.
So you're saying we should have an agreement on 2 things, and then maybe in a couple
I'm
months
just
have
saying,
2 more things?
maybe there's some other things.
Part of the agreement is 30 years, that's a long time with it. And I don't think you can just push the thing through, you need to take the time to look at it.
Well, and that's why I'm advocating the planning commission get involved. You're talking about planning-related stuff about your community, and you really should have more well thought out process that involves the public and the planning commission, rather than a backdoor agreement that doesn't include the public. I think you'll make better decisions this way.
Taylor, do you want to take it?
Yes.
Tracy Taylor, Heber City resident. Since I'm one of the public we're talking about that actually showed up to every one of these meetings, including your joint county-city meeting, and listening as a resident of Heber City and Wasatch County, I'd like to step back a minute and just go, let's review how this all started happening with the city. It came to a planning commission meeting back late May, maybe? April, where there was a map of Heber City with these large parcels that were being considered for your annexation map. Right there, that caused different entities and citizens and everything to be quite concerned and alarmed. So when you talk about including the public, and we should get the public involved, I think right from the start it came out a little hot. The city was, here's our annexation map, let's talk about our new annexation map. I don't think the county was up to speed. I know as a citizen who shows up to a lot of meetings in our community, I was caught off guard. So if I'm caught off guard, all the people on Facebook, I don't know if you've been there in the last 3 months, I would suggest you go and read some citizen comments about this annexation map. This is quite concerning to a lot of people. You don't see a lot of them here in this meeting tonight. But my point is it started out that it was on your map. And I was in county council meetings where Jordan L. Ridge, let's just take Jordan L. Ridge, was being discussed with the county for 2 years. And all of a sudden it's showing up on your city map. So this is where I'm concerned about as a citizen going, look, I'm just watching this process the last 3 months. That's how you get the county all worked up, worried about some things. That's how you get citizens on Facebook going, what? I didn't even hear about this. Maybe an open house to say, we're discussing our annexation map. Why don't we have a town meeting? What is the town, not even just Heber City residents, what does Heber City residents think when they see a map like that on the new annexations? That would have been a great way to start. Before you even put it on a planning commission meeting, at that planning commission meeting, there was a timeline presented by staff that said, okay, here's our first meeting. You know what? In a month, we can have a second meeting, second public hearing. We can move it to city council by July. This is what we were hearing. So to be a little put out right now, guys, that this is like not the reaction you expected, this was kind of set up that way. So I'm just saying, let's step back a minute, let's take a breath, and let's go, how can we work together with the county? Because I was in that joint meeting with city and county. I saw county councilmen and I saw city council people trying to talk to each other directly and to try to come up with a plan. And that's what I saw.
Sounded good.
Well, when our public officials who we voted for, who are our elected officials, are rolling up their sleeves and talking directly to each other, I'm comfortable with that. Because I elected those guys and I elected those guys. I'm comfortable with that. I am a little concerned that this wasn't going to be on a public meeting like tonight. And, you know, to see what this document is, I pulled it up on your website and printed it off and looking it over. So it is being a public process tonight. So that's good. Now, if they're not sitting in the audience, that's a whole nother subject. But there comes a panic point where people start really getting involved. And it's summer, and everybody's on vacation. So that's all I'm trying to say is, at the joint meeting, I saw county council people and city council people talking directly. And going, let's try to work, let's get a little joint meeting of a few of us together and try to put something together. I agree. The county council came and put a document on your table. That's great. It might not be everything you want, but my concern as a city council, as a Heber City resident, is I've seen in the past 8 years that I've been coming to Heber City Council meetings where things have been decided that night. And you decided to change a zone, or you decided to change something, and it's major. And it took 3 votes, and boom, it's done. And it's like, that concerns me. I can see why the county is coming to you with this document going, like red ledges. We did it already with red ledges. Why are we freaking out so bad? It's like, look, we need to know where this is headed. We can't expect it to be put on your annexation map and then wait for you guys to put these things, if you choose to do so at that point, put it on. I don't know if there's a lot of people in our community that are comfortable with that. Because I've watched it in the past where it hasn't gone that way. It's been 3 people decide and it's done. And I would like more people involved, some town meetings to see if we want to double the size of Heber City. I think that's worthy of a town hall meeting. And I agree that there's this timeline for the annexation map, but this is huge. This is huge. And I don't know if the developer's going to want to wait a year for the amount of time it deserves. I don't know, but he's been talking to the county for 2 years. So that's my little overview of what's kind of been going on the last 3 months. Thank you.
I have a question, just your comments come to mind. I was going to ask a quicker about. Who are these developers that have come to the city wanting us to annex them? I've never heard their names, I've never heard about, I've just heard some come, and I've heard that some, when they talk to the county, there's some of them are saying, we didn't go to the city asking for this. So who are they? And what properties?
Well, you know, one of the property owners is the people that drove our vehicles. That's
Sorensen's property. Sorensen's?
Yeah, John Rich, but there's about 8,000 acres up
So who came to the city?
there. There's Mike Bradshaw.
Okay. And who else? So that's Jordan L. Ridge up on top.
That's over right influence.
How many acres? I'm not trying to pin down
There's
the
about
city.
8,000 acres up there.
How much?
About 8,000.
8,000 acres. And those 8,000 have got water, what do you call the units for water or whatever?
ERUs.
And they currently have water for about 3,000 or 5,600 approved ERUs.
They got water for 50% of the project right now.
And 50% doesn't have water set. So how many rooftops would that envision at 8,000 acres?
5,000.
5,800 units.
5,800 units?
As I recall, that's another area of agreement on both that all the water would have to be approved through the water board. So I think that's something that everybody agrees to right now.
But whether that's another city or another little development or whether it's part of Heber, that's part of this annexation discussion that's surprising some people.
I think city can't record a plat without water rights being in place.
So who else? Jordan L. Ridge, who else?
Harry Gill,
Deal?
yep,
And what area is Deal in?
North Village,
How many acres?
and one,
So one developer owns the majority of North Village.
no, of the, well, partial North Village and partially the Jordan L. Farm area.
But how many acres?
Show us those.
I've got a little,
Could you kind of point those out to me, please? I'd like to be familiar with that.
We're talking about right here, it's about where the Swanson properties.
that's the 8,000, okay?
And that's the Jordan L. Ridge, or is that another developer?
Oh, that's Jordan L. Ridge.
And
Source
Deal-
of properties.
And Deal, you say how many acres? Where's he?
East north of the Commons or east probably.
How many acres?
I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
150 potential rooftops.
So it's small,
Even with the density that's there.
okay? But North Village has had a lot more density than that up till now. You're saying that's all that's left?
More, right, 150 more.
Is that it? Is that all?
No. There's the church right here.
Mountain Fellowship.
Mountain, thank you, Tracy. Well,
What's an overlay, it's an air walls,
yeah, there's about 70 or so acres here is up. And I don't know that developer's name offhand, I can't remember, but.
But whoever it is has come in and asked to be part of it, okay? Anyone else?
There's probably about 3 property owners down here that have about,
On 189?
probably talking about I don't know, I guess.
Just
I
estimate,
think there's over 100 acres.
Yeah, there's probably over 100 acres there.
okay? So the most all of it is Sorensen. Any east of Mill Road?
No, everything that's on the map is already, on the draft map that you have is already in the annexation area for the city, that the city's adopted.
Okay, so Mill Road's
There's no
got-
changes.
Mill Road's already in there, so
Well, no, the
East of
city's
Yellow.
planner goes to 2400 east.
yeah.
And remember, there was a gentleman's agreement that we've all talked about. And, you know, the discussion I'm trying to have tonight is to memorialize the gentleman's agreement in writing. And, you know, some of the issues I hit upon are right here. You know, and certainly the policy could be take this out of the annexation policy plan.
I think what was alarming to people is to know that there has already been density awarded north of Heber City that could result, and probably will result, in a city that's bigger than the population of Heber City. I was alarmed when I heard that. I think that's what's most alarming. Now, the question for Heber City is, and when these people come to Heber City, they have private property rights, and they say, hey, we're interested in looking at the possibility of annexation. And Heber City says, well, we go through a process outlined by the state legislature to either allow you to be in our plan. Before you can even consider asking us to be in our city, we would go through this process, including trying to resolve all the concerns with the county. But that's how it works. That's how it works in our state, is private property owners say, we want to annex to a city for whatever reasons they have. And I think this is the process we're going through. But I think it's alarming to people to hear those numbers. And I think we have to look at the future of Heber. When we hear all these numbers, is there going to be a big city on its own north of Heber? Is Heber going to end up being the, dying in the middle? Or is this going to be something that we add to Heber and it makes it thrive and grow? Or is it better off to say, no, that's not a good thing for our city? I mean, all these questions are still out there, but I feel like our planner is trying to say, here's the process outlined in state law. Let's go through this process. And I want to resolve all the county's issues. I think we need to look at all these issues, but I like the idea of going through this process as part of a potential annexation area. If these private property owners have come to the city and they're interested in that, I think that's what we're required to do.
But our city has a right, and this council has a right, to discuss and decide if we want to be that big or not.
Right.
And some issues that I want to hear numbers for is, what is the police and the roads and on and on and on that's going to be required, and what is the tax that will come in, what are the benefits, all those kind of issues.
We need all that.
And in your comments, and I appreciate it, you've got your point of view, and that's wonderful, but you've kind of used some loaded words. If we don't bring this in, then our city can be little and die.
I said,
If not, it will be
I
thriving
said we
and
need to
wonderful.
consider, is that a possibility? It may not be. But right now, we have developments right on our borders, like cobblestone, and they impact our city. Because they have to shop at our city.
Things and give us sales tax.
Yeah, they drive through our city on our
But we don't have to police them, we don't have to do a lot of things, but we get the benefits, I think, more than we do any services to them. So yeah, they come in town and buy something, gee whiz, let's not have them do that. I mean, if this whole,
speed in our town.
well, then we pick them up and get revenue if we bother to stop them. But there's a lot of questions.
Exactly, I totally agree.
You know,
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, those are things that I would like to present to the council. You may not need, and here's why you may not need the agreement. But if we go through all this analysis and you say, yikes, never mind, we don't even want to put that on our map. Well, what good is it to even have the agreement? And that's why I'm saying, let's amend the plan, let's analyze it, and then when we get to that point, if you still want to move forward with the map that's proposed, then we'll talk with the county about finalizing this.
But that process steps aside from this, let's talk and agree together. You're talking about when we're all done, obviously the county always has the right to protest every annexation we do. Is that how we want to do it?
No.
Or when somebody comes to want to be in the city, maybe we need to say, well, between us and the county, let's decide where that growth ought to be. And maybe it ought to be in the city, maybe not. I'm not troubled by Heber's going to get smaller. And I'll interject my, there's a lot of study, well or die. I'm from Hoytsville, a suburb of Colville. Well, Colville is the capital. It's the Heber City of Summit County. It's sure not the biggest. It got, when I played football in Park City, it was a little tiny town, and you whoop them easy and everything else. But now Colville's still the capital, but they're by far overwhelmed by Park City. But it's still the capital, and it can be viable or not viable. It's up to Colville. It doesn't have to be a great big city of 50,000 people to be viable. Let's make Heber viable anyway, whether we do it by gobbling up everything around us or by making us viable. And we need to see what gobbling up is going to cost us.
part of the process.
And it's part of the process. I
If you get a
understand.
petition for annexation, you want to analyze all those things and have conditions in an annexation agreement to where the city's interests were protected and it made economic sense to proceed with. You don't want to.
You know, the code, the rules in the state may not even address this, but is there a process where our planning commission and the county planning commission can look at some of these issues together, rather than us just proceed and hoping they like it? I don't know.
I think
Maybe
we're talking about what we want to look at. Maybe the council can decide what direction you want to take for the next point on this. I think we move forward on what you'd like to do next. But we'll have mostly look at
I want to talk with the county council more now that we've had this discussion. I really do. And I think that the staff needs to be there with us and the planning commission too. I mean, we're trying to go forward. This is a really good discussion to see a lot of the angles and perspectives. But I think we need to come back together and say, look, maybe we can agree here, here, and here. But we prefer to go through this process or not. I'm
So
just saying.
you want to look at talking to council again?
Yeah, I
County
think
council.
another
Sometime in
analysis.
August is a pretty busy month. It'd probably be, what's a good month for you, time, Steve, county, September? First week of August.
You know, this wasn't put on for an action item anyway. It was
I'm just trying to get an
whoa,
idea.
I know, but whoa, before we go answering the county, you're objecting to them, let's talk about it. And I think we have, and that's what we wanted. It's great.
It sounds like including one back to top county, again, two counties. So that's what we'll do. I'll work something with you, Steve, and we're okay.
And staff, I think, you know.
And I think that would be a good faith effort on both parties to discuss it.
We'll hold staff on, you guys go to the last one, so we'll have it here somewhere, so we'll get you know what time it works out. Wonderful.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Tom.
Item number